Hello, Steve White, Trick 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, we have some interesting news. I saw an article from Giant Freaking Robot, which is suggesting that the next Star Trek series is going to be the Republic. So it's going to be about the ship that Captain Kirk was an ensign on for a few years back in the 22, or forward in the 2250s. Not sure exactly when. Apparently he was in the academy, and he basically was taken from the academy for training missions on Republic, and then he came back as an instructor. He graduated, and then he became a lieutenant and went on to the Farragut, and that's when they met the cloud monster that killed Captain Garvik. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think it could be good. I mean, there was talk a while ago that they were going to have Kirk in Strange New Worlds, and they were going to make him bisexual, and there was a lot of drama about that. It probably, whether that idea came up and then someone came up with the idea of giving him his own series, or whether it was always talking about his own series and people were just, hearing, rumours and whispers and so forth about Kirk and casting a new Kirk and all that they thought they were just going to include him in Strange New Worlds. It's kind of hard to tell how that happened. But it makes sense since Picard has finished, I think they've finished filming season 3, because they did 2 and 3 pretty much back to back. And they're only doing 3, so they're going to need a new series after that. Strange New Worlds will be a year or so in production. And Discovery might even be due to end around that time as well, I'm not sure. But the idea of having another ship and having another crew going on missions and having a young Kirk who is different from the young Kirk we saw in the 2009 movies. This Kirk is a bookworm. He's a student who doesn't seem to know how to live. He's all about the theory side of things, apparently. And his classes are pretty hard. So the idea of just seeing that version of Kirk before he sort of becomes the Kirk he is today, and that journey of the sort of bookworm to the Captain Kirk we know could be an interesting one. I'm feeling optimistic about this, and this is the fun part of any Star Trek series. Before we saw Discovery and Picard, people were excited because we were anticipating what it was going to be. We were trying to guess what was going to happen, what factors, what characters, what were the elements of the series going to be, and it was exciting to sort of think about it and imagine what was going to come in the new series. And then we got Discovery and people were disappointed, and then same thing with Picard. We were promised a series in the future that was going to continue on after Voyager and be totally different and separate from Discovery, and then we get all excited about it because Patrick Stewart's coming, and then we get the show and it's not what we expected, not what we wanted. So it's been very disappointing, and I'm looking forward to Strange New Worlds because basically they're just trying to milk the most they can out of the IP and get as many shows out for content for Paramount Plus, and they're pretty much going to try and have Star Trek running all year round, which means like 5 series running for like 10 episodes a year basically. So that way they literally have a Star Trek on every week and not any overlapping shows like in the old days where they'd have 2 shows doing 25 episodes overlapping. Now they can just have shows go from one end to the other, and that also helps, I guess, with production as well, because they don't actually have 2 fully active productions on at the same time. So I can see this working long term, and with that variety we might actually get a Star Trek series out of this. I don't mind so much if we have shows that are very different or focusing on different elements of Star Trek, if we actually have the traditional elements represented as well. And that's what I hope Strange New Worlds is going to be, and that's what I hope this is going to be. And the idea of Spock having his own story on the Enterprise, and Kirk having his story before he gets on the Enterprise, and having his own journey, I think could work. I think the character definitely warrants it and can justify it and can carry it. And I don't care if he's bisexual, what they do with the character, as long as he still ends up being the Kirk that we know and they don't stray too far. There's a lot of human beings that are very complicated. We don't know everything about them, especially in the limited amount that we saw Kirk and those characters' personal life in the original series. There's a lot of wiggle room there that they can play with, and there's also a lot of backstory with the thing with Finney and him not closing the circuit and basically losing his career because Kirk did the right thing and reported him, and the reputation that came out of that, and the gossip and things that we see, that how it eventually got to in court-martial, to sort of see how that would have happened, over the course of the series, and the politics behind Starfleet and behind within a crew and a family of crew members could be really interesting. I can see a lot of ways they can go with this, and I'm feeling optimistic, and there's also something in my eye. But let's ignore that and finish off the video, because I am optimistic. I am excited. I hope this is actually true and they're going to do another series, and it's going to be a more traditional Star Trek series on a ship, because we've already established that ship, much like Strange New Worlds, so they can't go too far with it like they did with Discovery and with Picard, because those are a lot more variable. And fine, they've got their Far Out series that change every season. They've got another, universe-ending, apocalypse and cataclysm every other half season, and we spend whole seasons in the Mirror Universe, and we go to the future 900 years. They can do all that with those shows. I don't care if we've got, some more traditional Star Trek shows giving us just exploring the universe and humanity. It's possible to do that, make it interesting, and not have to have everything be practically destroyed every week, or every half season, or every season. So I'm feeling optimistic. I'm going to look forward to this. I know at this point it's only a rumour, but it does make sense that they're going to be working on something to fill Picard's shoes when it comes along, because they want to have a show running pretty much all year. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if there's actual rumours. Simon Pegg was talking a little bit about the fourth film. There seems to be some hope that it could still happen with them, but there's absolutely no talk. We know the movie that was put on a schedule at Paramount was moved from, I think it was June into December, up to December. So it's not off the books, but it's certainly not going anywhere. So at the moment, there's no progress. So I'm not sure if that's just wishful thinking, because he's doing interviews for another movie, and that's usually when they get a lot of questions asked about Star Trek, and they just talk about it even if there's nothing to actually report, no news. But yeah, I'm just going to sit quietly, wait to see what happens, and hopefully we'll have another Star Trek show, one that actually focuses on space exploration. But we'll see. I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.